Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2 here on Daybreak. Moonglade taking a very convincing Game 1 with a very lucky Baneling detonation. Perhaps Scarlett was just asleep at the wheel, or perhaps she just wasn't paying attention. And by losing that many Zerglings early on, it made it for a very difficult time to recover. Now, Scarlett has spawned as the purple Zerg on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Moonglade has spawned as the red Zerg on the top right-hand side of the map here on Daybreak, and I do expect to see rather similar builds as what we saw on Ohana. Now, the players didn't feel comfortable going for a hatchery first on Ohana. Both players opted to go for a spawning pool first, and that mainly had to deal with the fact that the map was rather small and you knew where exactly your opponent was. Now, that could be the case once more, as both players currently just training up more units. We'll see what Scarlett does differently this time around. Scarlett has spawned on the bottom side of even though her production tab is on the top. Yeah, rather confusing there, and it looks as though Scarlett is not going to be going for a faster spawning pool. Is that it? Nope, it is actually going to be a hatchery first. So Moonglade opting to go for spawning pool first. Meanwhile, Scarlett going for a hatchery first, being a little bit economically greedy. But this still should turn around and be good for her, because Moonglade didn't go for a crazy 10 pool or 7 pool. By the time that the Zerglings are out and are able to deal any damage, Queen should already be started. At least one Queen down over here, but Scarlett does need to start that spawning pool. There it is, and Queen's very effective at dealing with those Zerglings when they are in rather small numbers. About a 40-second discrepancy between the two players' spawning pools and a 30-second discrepancy between the two players' hatcheries. That should translate to perhaps one round of inject larva on one of those hatcheries there, and I believe Scarlett will have the additional magical fourth resource that Zerg players so desperately need. Triple gas already coming in from Scarlett. Meanwhile, Moonglade just starting up his extractor will be about 25 seconds behind, which should translate to faster metabolic boosted Zerglings for Scarlett. Now, in a map like this, where it is very important to get proper positioning and flanking because of the long run distances, Scarlett should be able to have better control of the map with those Zerglings sitting at the Xel'Naga towers and perhaps patrolling the far reaches of the map. You can see Moonglade still trying to come in and do a bit more scouting here, as Scarlett now training up both of her queens at nearly the same time and should be able to get up and running. Scarlett sitting on, I believe, 16 drones. Yes, 16 drones here in the main base. Meanwhile, should be transferring some drones over here to the natural once more. Meanwhile, we can see that Glade just got set up. Very different paths to get to the same point. And it looks as though Scarlett and Moonglade will be trading whoever has the supply advantage in terms of drones for a little while longer. Now, I don't see that many production units yet, as we now see Scarlett going into a very fast tier 2. Scarlett actually deciding to forego that Baneling's nest in hopes that Glade is not going to be attacking with a large number of Zerglings. If Scarlett was actually revealed at this point, Glade may decide to just go heavy into Zerglings in hopes that the Zerglings would be able to stop whatever Scarlett was trying to do before it got up and running. You can see there is that Baneling's nest once more. There is that spine crawler. Moonglade, the one playing a bit defensively this time. With that Baneling's nest and that spine crawler, unbeknownst to him, Scarlett is just now taking the tier 2, and we'll see what her tier 2 tech choice will be. Zerglings, 5 supply advantage now coming in. The Zerglings are not going to be able to do very much, if anything, as a spine crawler gets off a few easy shots. Drones now trying to make their way back up the ramp will be able to do exactly that, as the drones are still dancing around. So the Zerglings still trying to get in position here. Drones now going to go and head back to the mineral line. 18 drones on 8 mineral patches, as we now see a tech to tier 2. The Spire now coming in from Scarlett, And this is looking absolutely perfect for Scarlett. If Scarlett is able to gather up another 400 to 500 gas in the next 70 seconds or so, which is all very likely and definitely possible since she does have 3 drones on gas, she'll be able to get into, I believe, 6 Mutalisks. And then if she waits another minute after that, she'll get into 10. Those 10 Mutalisks will be able to shut down much of whatever Moonglade is hoping to do, as Moonglade is still more than 100 seconds off from being able to even get, or what is that, 120 seconds off, 2 minutes off before he can train up his first Mutalisk, and still quite some time before he can even get an infestation pit out with infestors. If Moonglade wants to defend against this, he needs to get some... he needs to get some additional queens. Only 2 queens at this point is not going to be enough. And now with Moonglade trying to establish up a 3rd base, this is not going to go well for him. Coming back over here, Scarlett does have this base. ZvZ now perhaps trying to come in and get us around. There are those 5 Mutalisks I was talking about. More larvae. There's that 6. We could have 7 and 8 in just a moment. No, morphing into banelings instead to try to be a bit defensive. And here we have it. ZvZ are trying to engage. The banelings now making their way over. And is this going to be enough? Banelings are going to be engaging here. The banelings are going to try to go ahead and splash up here as the banelings are going to hit. And who is going to deal more damage first? Banelings are trying to split up a little bit. And what is going to happen now as there are finally Mutalisks in the air? Mutalisk going to finish detonating those banelings, but at least gets off a good trade there. Scarlett now coming out with Mutalisks in the air, going to be able to easily clean up many of these Zerglings and these banelings as they are trying to retreat. Overlords in the air may even get taken down as the Mutalisk count should just grow and grow. We can see an infestation pit now coming in, a Spire coming in from Moonglade, but it may be too little too late, as the Mutalisks are still chasing around and minimizing the amount of damage that these Zerglings can do. Mutalisks moving very quickly in the air. And I believe now with 1 Mutalisk off over here and some Zerglings, they should be able to intercept and do much of that damage. The banelings now coming back in as well. The Zerglings unable to get on creep. And without creep, they do not move faster, allowing these Mutalisks to come back in. So Scarlett now with a very, very heavy Mutalisk count. But what is this? Moonglade gonna come back over the top with 9 Mutalisks, even though he doesn't even have assimilators or extractors here at this 3 o'clock position. All right, here we go. Oh, there's a baneling splash hit. Oh, beautiful, beautiful hits there by Scarlett. And so all of a sudden, Moonglade is down on units. What is going to be happening here? All of those Zerglings trying to get away again as we are looking at, what, 9 Mutalisks versus 7. And with these 9 Mutalisks out, Moonglade has retaken control of the skies. And oh, this is not going to be a good fight for Scarlett. Moonglade going to lose 1 so far. You can see more and more damage being dealt. Scarlett going to be losing all of her Mutalisks. Now trying to fly away. Is it going to be enough? Scarlett now down to 30 hit points on some of those. And the unit count is now 9 Mutalisks to 2, with more and more Mutalisks coming in from Moonglade. Scarlett now opting to do a quick turnaround, going into Infestors instead. Infestors are the stronger counter to those Mutalisks, as the Mutalisks do tend to bunch up and group up. If you're able to land a fungal growth on top of all of those Mutalisks and perhaps get a queen or even a spore crawler nearby, that is a lot of damage dealt. Scarlett now looking to expand here into the center 9 o'clock location. This is a blizzard version of the map, meaning that there is 2 Vespene geysers, and now Zergling's looking to come in here. Baneling's trying to do some hits. Does get some hits off, but doesn't do very efficient trades. 2 for 1s essentially, as now we see fungal growths on Infestors trying to make their way in. Spore Crawler now off over here, able to clean up many of the units coming in alongside this Spine Crawler here. Spore Crawler didn't get any hits, just is a detector, as the Mutalisks have now Moonglade coming in along the far side. Here we have it. The Mutalisks are gonna take down a couple of those drones, but Mutalisks are now coming in as well. There is a fungal growth. There is another fungal growth, and that is gonna be a whole bunch of chain fungal growth, which means a whole bunch of dead units, and Scarlett now with the supply advantage, pushing Moonglade back. 10 Mutalisks versus 2, but there are now 9 Infestors on the field. And the longer those Infestors are on the field, the more energy they'll have. The more energy they have, the more damage they will be able to do, as we see Infested Terrans quickly coming out and finishing up some of these Mutalisks here. Another Mutalisk going to get taken down here, as we now see Zerglings trying to get a surround onto this one hatchery. Moonglade loses it, as Zerglings may catch, no, does not catch an infestor in transit. Instead, its own units get caught in transit. Moonglade sitting at 84, Scarlett sitting at 158 supply. I believe it's just a matter of time before Scarlett gets the victory here, as Scarlett does have the significant supply advantage, meaning she has the larger army, and with those infestors, as long as they have at least 300 energy on them combined, as long as it's not like, what, 20 times 15, then this should be good. Mutal is now looking to come in here. Are we going to perhaps see a fungal growth? No, the infestors are not able to get off a fungal growth. Roaches now added to the group. Roaches are upgraded 1-0. And now we could see a fungal growth come in. There you go. There is a fungal growth. There is some infested Terrans. And now those are some holy and dead Mutalists. The infested Terrans rifles taking care of that. Moonglade now sitting at 135, 147 supply. Scarlett nearing out max supply, sitting at 197. Hydralisks are now all on the field. No Groove Spines research, as we see a battle of roaches and infestors. There's some fungal growth, there's some infested Terrans, and this might be enough to break it, as Moonglade does not have enough to go up against all of these time life units. So many infested Terrans, 16 dealing so much extra damage. And now with the infestors now making their way forward, there is the GG. Well played. Scarlett able to even up the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.